Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are, wherever you are. You have tuned in to another episode of Affordable Model Railroads. You asked for it. My name is James. You got Ian operating the camera back there. And this is our, sort of regularly scheduled, whenever we feel like getting time to post it up on the internet, show where we teach you some, show you some tips and techniques for building a model railroad. Some of them will be the same as you've seen on other videos around the YouTube world, because some of the stuff is tried and true and everybody's been doing it for 30 years. Some of it, like what I'm going to show you today, is relatively new, and so it's a new technique. It's a great time saver. It's a fantastic way that you can make sure that you get your track roadbed down accurately on your benchwork with no muss and no hassle. Save a lot of time for you. It is called our one-to-one print templates, or full-size print templates. And what it is we take your track plan design from whatever digital file that you have, whether it be Adobe Illustrator or a editable PDF or AutoCAD, or if you have any of the railroad design programs like Third Planet or CAD Rail or RailCAD, ExtraCAD, AnyRail, and we can take those designs that you have created, or designs that you have hired us to create, or designs you've hired somebody else to create, and we can print them for you on this full-size print template. And it shows your track, it shows your roadbed, it shows all your turnouts, it shows you where your building placements are, where you're going to put your view blocks. Basically, it shows anything that you want on your plan that will print out, so you can check your clearances here, make sure that your buildings aren't too close to the tracks. You can check your turnouts here, make sure that the crossovers are properly positioned. You can check your track center line spacing, and you can do all this before you ever lay down a stitch of roadbed and get it wrong and get frustrated and spend a lot of money having to pull up a bunch of roadbed and track. Now, this is really, really easy to do. It comes in these giant pieces here that you can see, and depends on the size of your railroad, determines how many pieces. And you only need a couple of tools to install it. A lot of people like to use this 3M spray. It comes in various degrees. This is the general purpose 45. It works just fine for this. They also make a Super 77, and I think they make a like a professional grade 90. You really don't need those. They're a lot more expensive than this. This works just fine on this, as long as you get a nice smooth coat when you spray it. Just spray it with a nice smooth coat both on the print and on your benchwork. So if you want to use that, that's fine. Just be sure that you use a lot of ventilation when you use this stuff. Alright, the second way, and the most popular way for most that we like for people that don't have a lot of ventilation or don't want the mess of the spray glue, because it does tend to float around the air and land on other things, simple wallpaper paste. We use the Zinsser Sure Grip 122. This also happens to be the same wallpaper paste that is recommended for the railroad backdrops.com backdrops, photographic backdrops, and they also came up with this. So you buy one type of adhesive, and it covers both your backdrops and your full-size prints. You'll need a roll of masking tape to help put the print down, a foam roller that I like to use to put down the wallpaper paste because it puts a nice smooth coat and eliminates a lot of bubbles. And then I use a standard nap roller as my squeegee to roll it out because this is a water-based adhesive, so it will tend to get your paper a little flimsy, a little stretchy, and if you use a hard putty knife or something, you'll end up ripping the paper. So just any kind of roller. You can use a kitchen rolling pin if your wife doesn't get upset, or you can just go buy one at Walmart for $3. But the paint roller is the easiest way, and normally everybody has them sitting around. Alright, so to lay these out, we've already laid out for expediency the first two panels here, but I'm going to show you how to lay out what would be the more complicated panel, which would be the round print here. And it's really simple. These are printed with a little bit of an overlap on them. So that way, all you can do is come down here, take your tape, find the end of it, just kind of tack it down right there to hold it, and then come around to the other side here, and you set it to where you can see how all these will match all the way across. There might be a little, they might be off a 32nd of an inch or something, but on this large of a piece, a 32nd of an inch is certainly more accurate than you're going to get on anything else. So just kind of tack that down, and then make sure all of your track pieces are close enough to where you want them, that they're matching up here all the way across. And if you do have to do an adjustment, just untack your tape here, make your little adjustment, and then tack it back down. And then you have everything lined up nice and neat and smooth on here. So, that gets you all lined up. Then what you want to do is, because with one person, a piece this size gets a little unwieldy to handle, so we do what we call a tape hinge. We'll run down the middle of it and tape it down. Use a good quality masking tape so it doesn't pop up on you there. And make sure you got that down nice and tight. Then you just undo your tape edge over here. Take that little piece of tape off. Fold it back in half. You can put a crease in it if you'd like, just to hold it back there. It's not going to affect anything. Get your wallpaper paste. Pour it into your tray a little bit. It doesn't take a lot, and you can always pour more in there if you need to. But I like to do it, try to minimize the waste as much as I can. Alright, put your lid on there so you don't accidentally knock it over. Then you take your foam roller and your paste, and this is actually probably too much paste for this little piece, but I'm used to doing a lot larger piece there. Now, the key to this is make sure that you get a nice even coat. You want to try to minimize as many bubbles and creases as you can. So you just roll it on there like you would, like you're painting your bench work. And actually, I have had a customer tell me that he skipped the wallpaper step, and he waited to paint his foam until he had his print tacked up. He painted it with the paint, and then as the paint was setting, he put the print on and used the paint as the adhesive. I personally haven't tried that, so I can't vouch for it, but it's something you may want to experiment with, or maybe we'll experiment with and do a video at some later time. Okay, so then you come back here, get your regular nap roller here. Hold your sheet up, put a little bit of tightness on it, hold it a little taut, and go right down the center of your print there, and then roll it out towards the edges. You may get a few little bubbles and creases, but they pretty much smooth out. You can smooth them out with your hand. The other thing you may want to do, which will help eliminate some of these creases, is if you give the wallpaper paste 5 or 10 minutes to set up, let some of the moisture evaporate out of it. Because as you can see, as the moisture evaporates out, it shrinks, and so it will put a few creases in here. Whereas if you wait a little bit, you'll eliminate that. Alright, I'm going to show you how to do the other side right now. Well, we're going to change the battery in the camera first because I think we're running out. Alright, we are back with a fresh battery in the camera. So, just to refresh here, we've put our wallpaper paste on here. We've rolled out our plan, and now we're going to do this other half. What I'm going to do real quick here is just undo the tape from this side. We won't be needing that tape hinge anymore. And you can either undo the tape here, or if you have a sharp hobby knife, you can just cut across there and make it all good. We don't recommend you try to pull the whole thing off at this point because, again, this is just paper. The masking tape may well stick to it and peel it up. And then we want to take off our little tab piece there. Throw those away. Now we can fold this all the way back to your other side. Pull it back just a little bit further so you expose just a little bit of what the paper paste you had put on there before. And then we're going to grab our wallpaper paste. As you can see, I still have way lots left in here. So just kind of pour it. You can be a little stingy when you pour it. And just pour some extra if you need to. Actually, I guess maybe that came out just about right. So, yes, it looked like there was more in there than there really was. Alright. So, we've got that done. And now, like I said earlier, if you want to kind of help reduce the wrinkles and things, you can let this dry a little bit, just so to where right now it's wet. You can let it dry to where it gets a little tacky, and then that way you won't get as many creases and stuff as it dries. Because what happens is, when you lay this over this, the water base gets soaked into the paper, and then just like any other water-based cement, it shrinks when it dries because the water evaporates out, and so it shrinks the paper with it, and then that's how you get your creases in there. But the creases are very, very minimal and very nominal as far as the overall effect of anything. So again, stretch this out, give it a little, make sure you have a little bit of tightness on it, and then you can just roll it right out. And roll that down. And then you can smooth out any air bubbles with your hand here. Okay, so now as you can see, we've got one nice big layout, and as you can see, we go around the corner with all the junk on it. We've done this on all the parts of the layout here, and it really came in handy doing this yard. You've got all this complicated yard track. You don't have to do any measuring or anything. You just lay it out here, and then you lay out your road bed and all of your tracks on it. And then you can peel it up after if you want to. You don't have to. The glue will keep it stuck down. But we went ahead and peeled it out of there just because that was at the customer's request. So they're going to do their own scenery here. They didn't want the paper on there. Alright, so once again, I want to thank you for watching Affordable Model Railroads. You asked for it. Be sure that you subscribe, and then you'll get notified when we post these up here. Also, going to start posting some reviews and other things that will help you build your railroad, and give the techniques a try, and that way you can build the best railroad for your needs that you can. Thank you very much.